G'day viewers, I'm JD and welcome to another episode of Go RV's Camping Cuisine, thanks to our friends at Thetford. I've just arrived at this beautiful campsite at Gembrook. I've got the Viscount set up behind me, I've got the fire going, and I'm about to go inside and make some morning tea for my friend Dempsey from Thetford. Come with me. So today I'm going to show you an easy, quick recipe to make some of my favourite scrolls. Let me run you by a list of ingredients. I'm going to use a small can of apples already cooked. Now you can use fresh ones, but I always have a can in the pantry, which is great to use straight away. You'll need 1 egg, half a cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of sugar, some brown sugar, cinnamon of course, self-raising flour, and some shortening. You can use butter or margarine. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is pour in half a cup of milk, and I'm going to break an egg into it and give that a beat. Now I will use that mixture for my scrolls, but I'll leave a little bit behind for glazing. In a bowl, I'm going to add 2 cups of self-raising flour. That will be our racing agent instead of a yeast. For my shortening today, I'm using Nutlex, 50 grams, roughly about 3 tablespoons should do the trick. 2 teaspoons of sugar to keep our dough nice and sweet, and a heaped teaspoon of cinnamon. Beautiful. Let's rub that in the mixture. Remember using your fingers, which are the coolest part of your hands, to get that butter and flour into a bit of a crumble. Can you see how the crumbs are starting to form? We're going to make a well in the middle. We're going to pour our milk and egg mixture in. Remember leaving a little bit for glazing, so that should be about right. Using a knife will cut through the dough a lot quicker and make sure the ingredients are combined. As you can see, a nice soft dough is starting to form. Now the first thing we have to do before we do anything else is turn our oven on. That means that when it's time to put our scrolls in, the oven will be nice and warm and ready to go. And we want that on 200 degrees. When our dough's formed into a bit of a ball, it'll still be a bit wet. That's when we need to flour our board, and then we're just going to knead and pat for a little while until it's not too wet and not too dry. That's about perfect. We're going to set that to the side to rest. Now for our filling, I'm going to put in 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. We're going to add 2/3 of butter, 1/3, 2/3, a heaped teaspoon of cinnamon, and using a wooden spoon, we're going to cream our butter and sugar. This is a bit tricky, so you've got to start off by pressing it together, and then slowly we're going to start beating. So guys, it's going to take a bit of elbow grease. Can you see how that's starting to come together and form a buttery consistency? Now next, we get our dough, and what we want to do, spread the flour a little bit so it doesn't stick to the board, and we're going to pat it into a bit of a square, probably more like a rectangle than a square, because we're going to make our scrolls. Turning it over every so often. If it tears a bit, don't worry, we'll pat it down. I'm going to use my olive oil spray to roll my dough out. Look at that, and you can go shaping as you go using this as my rolling pin. So first we're going to spread our mixture on top and make sure that we do that evenly in a minute. So here's a little tip, use a wet knife and you won't get that mixture sticking to it. We're going to sprinkle our apples on top and make sure that they're evenly divided. Look, you could bake it just like that, but we will stick to our original idea. I like to use plenty of apple. Now the trick here is to roll it slowly and carefully to form a roll. You can press because you're pressing all the air out as you turn it around. Just like tucking a baby into its bed with a nice warm blanket. We're going to pour a little bit more flour on top to make sure it doesn't stick, and roll it a little bit, pushing the sides. Using a sharp knife, we're going to cut our scrolls into about 1.5 inches thickness. We're going to put our scrolls on the pan and just press them down a little bit. Normally I'd use a pastry brush to glaze my scrolls, but hey, we're out in the bush. I'm just going to use my fingers, just getting a bit of that mixture of egg and milk and just patting a little bit on top, which is going to make them nice and golden and shiny. Okay folks, these are ready to go in the oven. It's been 20 minutes. They look golden brown. I think they're ready. They look great. Now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of icing sugar over the top to finish the look. How great do they look? They're nice and light and fluffy. It looks like Dempsey's here with the coffees. I'm going to take these out. Hey Diego, I made some morning tea. Now can I have a raise? Let's give them a go. Good? I'll be the judge of that. Thanks for watching viewers, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Go RV's Camping Cuisine, thanks to our friends at Thetford and Dempsey.